can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Eevee and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're gonna be talking about Wolverine number 31 by Benjamin Percy and Juan Jose Rip. This is the issue where, man, if you were still holding out some level of hope, some modicum of hope that Beast was gonna get his act together, that he was not gonna be out here acting a whole entire blue monkey out here, I don't know what to tell you. This issue, we see the plan that Beast has been putting into play. The Beast agenda is officially on the table. We know everything, for the most part, that he's trying to do. Now, at the end of the day, a lot of this all goes back to tons of things that I have brought up in regards to Beast, his time with X-Force, and even his beef with Wolverine as of late. He even cites in this issue that the very same things I've talked about are the reasons why Beast has had beef with Logan as of late. The fact that Logan doesn't believe in Krakoa, the fact that he feels Krakoa has made them soft. All these things that go back to issue number 1 of X-Force, all of this is stuff that has led to where Beast and Wolverine are now as of late, and Beast has now officially become one of Wolverine's most deadly enemies. What I find so interesting about this as well is that Beast has essentially pulled a Bender from Futurama. He says, oh no, I don't mess with any of y'all on X-Force anymore. I'm making my own X-Force with blackjack and hookers, and that's exactly what Beast has done. He has created his own version of X-Force. As a matter of fact, he has kicked everyone off the team. He has fired both Sage, Deadpool, Omega Red, Wolverine, Domino, everybody. I think Kid Omega would have been fired too if he was around at the time. I think Black Tom Cassidy also has been fired in this regard. Black Tom didn't even do anything wrong. But no, Beast has taken the Point, which had recently become this giant skull head, very reminiscent of a Castle Grayskull. And I guess while we're speaking of skulls, let's address the elephant in the room. I have noticed in the comments for a previous video, people have been asking me about the shirt. So here, I'm here to talk about it. This t-shirt is a product from a company called Gaijin. And full disclosure, it's a company that's run by a buddy of mine right here in Memphis. If you want to go check out this shirt as well as some of the other apparel that they offer, there's a link in the description below as well as a pinned comment. You can go there right now to weargaijin.com. You can find this shirt as well as some other really awesome ones, and there's really nothing else there for me to say. There's no secret, knock or code that you have to put in to be able to find this. It's just right there. So yeah, go check it out. All that aside, getting back to it, the Point, which has been the base of operations for X-Force, has now been turned into a Krakoa Zord. We've seen in this where the giant skull that was making up the base and had become very ominous as of late, just stood up out of the ground and walked off with like a Krakoan techno-organic body, and Beast has now set himself up in an underwater style facility and it's just acting a whole fool. He's even going out and killing humans left and right. And the thing is that Beast is doing all this because he feels he's protecting Krakoa. He feels that everything he is doing right now, all of it, is in service of protecting Krakoa first. That is his job. He has no other purpose in existence right now than protecting Krakoa, even if that means protecting Krakoa from itself. There's lots of very interesting things going on here too, because as we saw, the Beast had his own resurrection protocols in place. We didn't really know the full layout of how it worked, but now we know apparently Beast is mentally backed up every single minute, more than any other mutant in the entirety of Krakoa. He has more backups made for him than probably even Charles Xavier. Not only that, he didn't just have the one single resurrection pod. Apparently, he had tons of them, and we saw this as we talked about in the 2023 edition of Timeless, that it was alluded that Beast was gonna have multiple clones of himself, and now we see that playing out. He has several clones of himself, all of whom are backed up from his most recent backup. All of them know the Beast agenda. They know the plan. They all think exactly the way he does because they are just more versions of himself. They're not alternate reality versions of him. These are literally carbon copy Hank McCoys. What makes this even more interesting is that he has wiped all of the backups of himself from each of the 5 cradles on Krakoa. That means there are no backups of him on Krakoa. That means that no matter what happens, if someone wants to read up on his files to see what it is that he has backed up in the memory banks of the various Cerebros on the island, no one could do it because they're all gone. The only thing left is stuff from his time when he was with the Avengers, when he was an active member of the roster, which it's even hinted at in this issue that the reason why those things were left behind is because probably didn't think they were very important. Another thing I want to point out too, and this is something I've been noticing more and more since we've kind of been dealing more with Beast over these last several issues of Wolverine. I feel like they've been going well and out of their way to make this version of Beast look like the Kelsey Grammer version of Beast from X-Men The Last Stand, which I actually think is pretty cool. I actually thought Kelsey Grammer made a very impressive looking Beast, and I think it's even more awesome that they're just kind of leaning into it right here. But yeah, that's the plan. The plan is to basically create the best version of X-Force humanly possible, and the only way Beast can do that is if he has an army of himself. That's the only person that he can trust. He can't trust the other members of X-Force to do the things that he wants them to do. He has noticed over time, especially as of late, that he has been found out about his secret Death Star prison base out there among the stars, and he's been found out about his trying to have Wolverine on a short leash, treating him as his original Weapon X incarnation. All that stuff is out in the open now, so no one on the team trusts him. So Beast is looking towards the only people he knows are going to be thinking exactly like himself, and that is himself. Now, what I do find interesting about this is we see towards the end of this issue, he is creating more clones. And initially I thought they were more clones of himself. They're actually clones of Wolverine. I even thought maybe he's making a clone of Deadpool, a clone of Omega Red. Maybe he's making clones of each of the various and sundry members of X-Force so that he can create his own version of the team and just have them do what he needs them to do. But these are all just more Wolverines, and probably all about the same as how he was treating Wolverine before, not putting all their memories back into place, leaving them rabid and pretty much little more than just a rampaging animal. There were even some like coding things that came up in this issue. I was trying to look and see if maybe there was something in there that maybe gave us some clues as to what we could expect from him. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that these Wolverines, his attack squad, his army of Logans, is basically not necessarily the end-all be-all of his plan, but it's definitely a major part of it. The other thing I thought was really interesting here too is that, especially with everything going on lately with The Last of Us, I thought it was very, very funny and also incredibly telling that when we get to a point where Wolverine is looking at the body of the Beast who he killed in the previous issue. Now, once again, remember, we already know Beast is already resurrected, already alive and well, already unleashed his other clones of himself to carry out the Beast agenda. We see here that that dead body of Beast is not completely dead, that its head starts splitting, and it, for all intents and purposes, turns into one of the clickers from The Last of Us. It's like he took the telephoronics and some of the Krakoan biotech that he had been working on all this time, and that was probably one of the fruits of his labor. We know that he was very deep off in the telephoronics, using it even at not the recent but the previous Hellfire Gala, that he unleashed it upon the world, using them as sleeper agents and spies to carry out, I guess, more of what is the Beast agenda. Well, as we see it here, he has turned himself into one of those, so it's safe to say that any one of these beasts, whether they are the recently resurrected one or the recently cloned ones, it's safe to say that if any one of them were to be killed, they would turn into clickers just like in The Last of Us, infected with some semblance of a Krakoan biocordyceps hybrid virus. And they are, for the most part, rabid animals. This beast does not speak, he does not pontificate, he doesn't quote famous philosophers or have quippy comebacks. He is literally just a beast. Now the question remains whether or not he can bite anybody and transfer this affliction to somebody else. That remains to be seen, but I do think it's safe to say, yeah, Beast gotta go in the hole. I don't know where all this is gonna go from here, but I think it is safe to say that Wolverine and Beast are gonna have to have the big Dukaroo. it is going to come down to an army of Wolverines versus an army of Beasts, because I'm pretty sure that it's safe to say that those army of Wolverines are not going to be 100% under Beast control. Maybe he won't make the same mistake twice and put, I guess, assurances in place to make sure that they don't gain their memories back the way that Logan gained his memories back, with the darker aspect of Krakoa basically torturing him with his memories until he got them back. And I don't even think that that dark aspect of Krakoa was even doing it on purpose. It just was something that happened. So maybe Wolverine could, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, maybe he could convince the island to, quotey fingers, do it again. Or maybe Wolverine will just have to kill a bunch of himself and kill a bunch of Beasts too. But yeah, I don't foresee Beast lasting too much longer, because it seems like he's just pushing too far to get his fade run. And I'm sorry, but yeah, I love it. I love this version of Beast. I think Beast is great right now. I think this is the most interesting Hank McCoy has ever been in the history of ever. I freaking love it. However, I do feel like it's just, I don't know if it's sustainable. I don't honestly think it is very sustainable, but at some point, Beast is gonna have to answer for his crimes. He has killed lots of people, and that's before he was using Wolverine as a specialized attack dog. So yeah, it's gonna have to happen sooner or later. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, do the YouTube thing, like, share, comment, subscribe. We're getting closer and closer and closer to reaching 100,000 subscribers on YouTube in 2023. So do me a favor, make sure you hit that button and make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Until next time, let me know what you thought about Wolverine number 31. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.